ready for some football. I don't know about you. Who else could it be but your man Lou? Yeah.
Who else could it be but me? You're me, Louie T. Welcome to Monday Night Football Overtime. Niners, Cardinals, NFC West family business. You know how the family do it. And this one was a lot like I expected. I don't know if I thought it would get as out of hand, but I thought the Niners would win this game comfortably. I always tell you guys, if it ain't your family business, then stay out of it. I got a taste of that this week. And I say that for a reason, because a lot of times, even someone like myself who follows the NFL very closely as one can follow the NFL without actually being affiliated with it, I thought I had a handle on, what was going on with the 49ers in regards to the Cardinals. And this is why I love the viewers of the Louie T Network, because someone will always get me straight. And my guy Niners fan was like, bro, we don't own the Arizona Cardinals. If anything, they own us. And I'm like, really? I was, there's certain games that stick out in my mind. And for me, back in 2020, when the 49ers were struggling and they were going to miss the playoffs, I vividly remember a Saturday game on Amazon when they were test running that beta test of Amazon Prime, having the Cardinals and the 49ers play, back when COVID was at its peak and the 49ers weren't allowed to play in Santa Clara, and they weren't good that year anyway. They had a bunch of injuries. And they go into Arizona with C.J. Beathard, and the Cardinals are playing for everything. The playoffs are on the line. They win this game, they're going to make the playoffs. They lose this game, and it gives Chicago the inside road. And if they lose, Chicago wins out, they make the playoffs, which is what ultimately happened. They lost to Arizona or to the 49ers, who weren't a good team that year, maybe a 7-win team at best, and probably more like a 6-win team. I think they might have been 7-9 that season. And they lose that game. They got their full complement of guys, Kyler Murray plays everybody, and they lose to C.J. Beathard in the San Francisco 49ers. And it stood out to me as, man, the 49ers just find a way to beat the Arizona Cardinals. Last year, I remember, though, them sweeping, once Niners fan was like, they swept us last year. I'm like, yeah, I remember they started 8-0. It was fool's goals. Nobody really was buying what the Cardinals were selling, even when they were the last undefeated team. But I remember, 2 of those victories coming against the 49ers, and one being ultra impressive with Colt McCoy going to San Francisco. They ran the hell out of the football with James Conner, and they beat him up pretty good. And I was like, didn't really see that coming. I didn't know Kyle Shanahan was 3-7 against the Arizona Cardinals until that was pointed out tonight. Niners fan tried to warn me, but I was like, 3-7? What? But that, you throw all of that out the window because Arizona stinks. And the 49ers, I said this last week, and I actually said some version of this when the 49ers first got Christian McCaffrey, and I wasn't the biggest fan of the trade. I knew he would make them better, but I wasn't quite sure how much better. And then I watched them that very first game. He had only been there 4 days. They play against the Chiefs. And even though they got throttled in that game, he played maybe 15 to 20 snaps. And I said, oh, shit, McCaffrey's going to make a huge difference. If he's healthy, it's going to change everything for the 49ers. And then they had a bye week. And then they came back from the bye. And the last 2 weeks, Chargers game, this game, even though, they weren't as impressive against the Chargers, I think there's a game in there that I'm missing. I think they had the 49ers, the Chiefs game, then another game, then the bye week. It was the Rams game. That's the one I'm missing. They had the Rams game where McCaffrey threw for a touchdown, ran for a touchdown, caught a touchdown. And then you had the game last week against the Chargers, and then this game. And what's been apparent to me, and I said this after the game last week, they're the scariest team in the NFC. Like, the Eagles are cool. I'm not really, afraid of the Eagles. The Vikings, we saw that they are, fraudulent is a strong word. That's not a word I like to associate with an 8-2 team. Okay, I stay away from that. I let everybody else do that. I've called them lucky to be 8-2. The Vikings are more like a 6-4 team that's posing as a 8-2 team, which I guess that means they're fraudulent, right? It's not really who they are, but they've gotten lucky, and so they're 8-2. But nobody's afraid of the Kirk Cousins led Minnesota Vikings. The 49ers are the best team in the NFC if they're healthy, and nobody's afraid of Jimmy G, right? But he's been there, though. He's battle tested. He's played in a Super Bowl. He's taken them to the NFC Championship game. He's played in big football games. He's not afraid of the moment. This team is talented. They're loaded defensively when they're healthy. On offense, they've got a wealth of talent there as well. This is the team to beat, if you ask me, in the NFC. If Brady and the Bucs find a way to get their shit together, they're an interesting team as well. And it may ultimately come down to those two teams, but I'm not putting anything on that Brady group because, again, in my mind, I can't get out of my mind the Brady Buccaneers led by Uncle Bruce. But Uncle Bruce isn't patrolling the sidelines anymore. He couldn't get along with Brady. That relationship was fractured. No one's going to tell me anything, okay? The reason why Tom was retiring is because Bruce Arians was the coach. Is as soon as Bruce retired, magically Tom Brady unretires. You're not telling me anything. That's the reason that thing was about to be done. And then once Arians decided, you know what, I'm over this shit, I'll go into the front office and have a role there, Brady decided to come back. If Arians is still on the sidelines, not taking any shit, criticizing Brady when he plays like ass, Brady didn't want to hear that shit, but that's Uncle Bruce. If you don't play well, I'm going to call you out, no matter who you are on this team. If he was still on the sidelines, give me the Buccaneers. I don't trust Todd Bowles, okay? I just don't. So I don't think that team is going to be what they probably could be. But this 49ers team is dangerous. You saw it tonight. And they put everything on full display for you, just in case you were wondering, how is this going to work? Well, Brandon Ayuk, 2 touchdowns. George Kittle, 2 touchdowns. Deebo Samuel, a touchdown. And Christian McCaffrey over 100 all-purpose yards. This is how it works. Jimmy Garoppolo, 4 touchdown tosses. This is how it works. They talk about, guys leading the league in yards after catch at each individual position at their respective positions. McCaffrey, Samuel, and George Kittle. And you saw that tonight. All the catches and then the runs after the catch. The Cardinals quit on that last touchdown to George Kittle. I mean, that was embarrassing, but when you're getting your ass kicked, it's 31-10. It's about to be 38 after he jaunts into the end zone. You're 4-6 on the verge of being 4-7. Season's not going anywhere. It's easy. And they got a nerve to be on Hard Knocks. I mean, that's going to be some compelling television just for the fact that you want to know, are these guys going to quit on their head coach, Cliff Kingsbury? But the 49ers, super dangerous. 3rd week in a row, they haven't surrendered a single point in the second half of a ball game. We know what DeMeco Ryans' defense is about. They've gotten better defensively with some of the moves that they've made. Charvarius Ward being one of the most notable moves that has really strengthened what I thought was the biggest weakness on the team a season ago, which was their secondary. You know what's a quiet, sneaky move no one's talking about? That a guy that I loved early on in his career, and then he went to like 2-3 different teams, and it just he never rekindled the magic. But now it seems like he's found whatever was lost in Jacksonville. Tashaun Gipson has been a quiet, sneaky, good move by John Lynch and company. No one's talking about his impact on that secondary, but Tashaun Gipson is playing some fantastic football this season. I've been so impressed with him. It reminds me of the Tashaun Gipson I fell in love with in Jacksonville. Don't know what happened to him in Cleveland. Don't know what happened to him in other spots. He's been on 2 or 3 different teams since he left Jacksonville. This is the Tashaun Gipson that I fell in love with, and damn it, he looks good this year. No one's talking about him. Everybody's talking about Charvarius Ward, and for good reason. He's really bolstered that secondary. But Tashaun Gipson has been fantastic. They're good defensively. They've got all their linebackers healthy finally. I hope Dre Greenlaw's wrist or whatever was wrong with him that he was holding when he was on the ground is okay, because it seems like every time they feel like they've got all their guys back, somebody gets hurt. They got Al Shire back. He's just getting back in the swing of things, and now Dre Greenlaw might be tagging out. I hope he's healthy, because him and Fred Warner next to each other are they may be the best tandem right next to each other in the league. And it's crazy because they're doing all of this with their D-line still being compromised. They still don't have all their stuff up front. There was no Eric Armstead tonight. There was no Javon Kinlaw tonight. I forgot number 90's name, but he was eating tonight. They're deep on that defensive line. So the 49ers to me are the most dangerous threat in the NFC. If you ask me, if you ask me right now in a playoff game, what team don't I want any parts of? I'd tell you it's the San Francisco 49ers. But I've already said, as a Washington fan, I've already said, I expect the 49ers to win that division. Now they're in first place by virtue of already beating Seattle earlier this season. They're 3-0 in the NFC West, are the 49ers. They're going to win that division. They're the best team in that division. I said that 2 weeks ago. So it's not a surprise that they've caught up with the Seahawks. And look, there are 2 teams in particular that to this point have outkicked their coverage this season. They've played fantastic football, and we are just floored at how good they've been, and we can't believe it. But the jig is up, okay? Enough of this shit already. Seattle and the Giants, okay? It was cute, fun story, really, really entertaining stuff. One of y'all got to go, okay? I'm not kicking both of you out. One of you got to go. You both can't go to the show, okay? Both of you can't have a ticket to the dance. One of you has to stand up and say, all right, you got me, okay? You got me. And I pull off the mask, and I go, the Jacksonville Jaguars? Yeah, one of y'all, one of these teams are fraudulent. I don't know which one yet. I really think Geno Smith isn't bullshitting. I don't think he's playing around. I really think Geno's like, you ain't talking to me. But I'm looking at the Giants. They just had 16 injuries on Sunday. Everyone knows what they want to do. They want to run with Saquon. The Lions shut that shit down, forced Daniel Jones to beat them. And what do you know? Daniel Jones, who had been playing clean football for the last 5 or 6 weeks, throws 2 interceptions when he's got to throw it 40 times in the game, or close to it. I think it's the Giants. I expect them to be dismantled on Thanksgiving here in the next couple of days with all the injuries that they've incurred. We'll see. Maybe they rise to the occasion and fight like hell and make it tough on Dallas. I can't see a way where they beat the Cowboys unless the Cowboys implode. Don't see them beating them. However, interestingly enough, it's family business. So none of that shit matters. Throw everything out of the window and you just let the chips fall where they may. But the 49ers are in. They're going to make the playoffs. They're going to win that division. They're going to host a playoff game. And it's Seattle that I've got my eye on now. This was an impressive victory. I think this was the warning shots the 49ers are letting off to the rest of the league. Pop, 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 especially the NFC. Like, hey, we just letting y'all know. We here. We got guns and shit. Pop, 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 pop. We're not afraid to use them. You've been warned. And they're putting the rest of the guns in the trunk. Bring them out, bring them out, bring them out. It's hard to yell when them barrels in your mouth. Woo! Look out for these boys. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. If Jimmy G is distributing the football like he did tonight. First of all, when did Jimmy G start creating shit off script? I watched Jimmy G step up in the pocket tonight. Scramble towards the line of scrimmage right when he's about to cross it, fall back and throw a dime to George Kittle. When does Jimmy G do that shit? What happened to the statue, 2 left feet, Jimmy G that stands in the pocket and can't move? What the hell is going on out there? I mean, shit's falling into place, man. I'm not going to assume that there's this new Jimmy G all of a sudden year 8, 9 in his career. Like, he ain't no new dude. He ain't learned no new tricks. But let him start doing that and shit's really going to be difficult. I don't think that's, if you collapse the pocket, like, I think he did that because the Red Sea literally parted. Like, he would have had to wanted to get sacked if you don't run and take that A gap. It was so big. Like, he had no choice but to run up that A gap. Collapse the pocket around Jimmy G and he'll curl up in the fetal position. So I just think the Cardinals just don't have enough juice up front to be able to do that. And he took advantage of that. But let him start doing that. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Even you think it's bad now with Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel and George Kittle and Brandon Ayuk? You think it's bad now? Let Jimmy G start trying to create some shit. All hell breaks loose at that point. If you're Arizona, this is a really disappointing season, but you knew it was going to be disappointing once you found out DeAndre Hopkins was suspended for the first 6 games. That changes everything. He's such a big part of their offense. And I don't think they ever really truly rebounded after the 6 games he missed because they got off to a really sluggish start. They lost some games that they might not have lost had he been playing early in the season. I'm not a big Kyler Murray fan. First of all, it started in the offseason with the weird shit they did with Kyler Murray and the contract. Murray was upset. He wanted a new contract. They wouldn't give it to him at first. He started pouting, talked about wanting to play baseball, all of the shit that you do when you want something and you got a little bit of leverage, so you flex it. And then the cooler heads prevailed. He got the deal, but then they put the weird provision in there where he had to study. That made them look bad. It made Kyler Murray look bad. So then they take the provision out, but the damage has already been done. And you're just looking around like, what did you just do? You guys are clueless. So then you get to the regular season. There's no DeAndre Hopkins. And you trade for Hollywood Brown. So you're thinking, well, maybe they'll be able to get by. The answer was no. A profound no. And they struggled, And I don't know if this is a Cliff Kingsbury issue or if this is a talent issue or if this is injuries or is it a combination of the two or is it a combination of all of these things that I've just mentioned? I can't quite put my finger on why they're not good this season other than the injuries and, not having Nuke for the first 6 weeks. But there's something off with Arizona. And, they missed Chandler Jones. And, they missed some of the guys that are no longer there. But something's off. I don't know what it is. Something's off. Something's amiss with the Arizona Cardinals. Yep, no more Christian Kirk. He was a huge part of their offense. I can't put my finger on exactly. I think they underrated a lot of the guys that were there that helped them. Chase Edmonds is a good example. I think they underrated what he brought to the table offensively for them. They haven't replaced him yet. They just released Eno Benjamin. The Kenyon Drake thing didn't work, clearly. I really don't think they valued Chase Edmonds the way that they should. They haven't replaced him yet. They had a nice two-man, running back tandem back there, and now they just have James Conner, and there's no one to spell him. They whiffed there. You can't re-sign everybody, so Christian Kirk was the odd man out, and they figured, we got Hollywood Brown, we should be fine. That hasn't worked the way that they thought it was going to. Clearly he got injured, and he was playing okay before he got injured, but that hasn't worked out the way that they intended. Chandler Jones is now a Vegas Raider, and I don't really know. He was hurt last year. I don't really know if that, makes a difference or not. They went and drafted Myjai Sanders to try to take his place, similar build, not the same player. Myjai Sanders sucks. I just, for whatever reason, I don't know why they're not good in Arizona. I can't quite put my finger on it. I just think they're missing a lot of pieces that were there before that helped them. And obviously, DeAndre Hopkins missing the first 6 games impacts you. You start to lose, and then you start to have this mentality of, woe is me, here we go again. You saw it tonight. They started out rough, but they didn't quit. They got the touchdown. You come in, you get 2 plays out of a guy that has been playing phenomenal football, and Rondale Moore. And he has a groin injury 2 plays in. And now it's the Dortch show, the Greg Dortch show. And he gets a big play, get into the end zone, and it's 14-10 at half, and you're like, hey, they're hanging in there. And then the floodgates open. And you could see them, the life leaving them as the 49ers continued to score and score and score some more. And I don't know. I like Cliff Kingsbury, but I don't think he is necessarily the right man for a team that's struggling. When shit's going well, I think Cliff Kingsbury is awesome. When it's not going well, I don't know if he's the leader of men that's going to get guys to fight and believe despite the circumstances. I may be off base on that. I get the same feeling about Sean McVay. When shit is going well, or he's got all the pieces that he needs, he's going to find a way to get it done. But when shit's not going well and he doesn't have everything, I don't know if he's the right man for the job to turn things around. And I could be off base with that, But to me, give me the Mike Vrabel type of coach. No Derrick Henry last year? Okay, fine. I'll take Deontay Foreman and I'll still figure the shit out and we'll still win football games. No Treylon Burks for 2/3 of the season this year. I got shit at receiver, okay? I got nothing at the receiver position. I really got nothing at the skill positions other than Derrick Henry. I'll figure this shit out, okay? I don't think that these 2 guys, this one, let's stay away from Sean McVay. He has nothing to do with the ass whooping that was taken tonight, 38-10, in the season that has been so disappointing for the Arizona Cardinals this year. Let's just focus on Cliff Kingsbury. I don't think he has that type of resolve where guys get injured, I'm going to dig down deep and we're going to figure this shit out. We're going to find a way to get it done anyway. He doesn't strike me. We saw what happened last year. DeAndre Hopkins got injured. Shit started to fall apart. Fingers started getting pointed. They started out 8-0. Shit was all good. Everybody's riding high. You find out who your real friends are when shit starts going bad. Everybody's cool when you go into the club and you know, you pop in bottles and shit's all gravy, right? Everybody, that's when you got everybody coming around. Get sick, end up in the hospital. See how many people come see you then. Kind of feeling that way with the Arizona Cardinals. Shit's going well. Everybody's on board and they're down for the cause. Shit starts going sideways. Nobody, and that's why you see guys like Buda Baker getting on everybody's ass. We've seen that, you know, preview and that promo for the Hard Knocks series where he's telling everybody, I'm sick and tired of losing at home. This shit is embarrassing. It's ridiculous. I don't think there's enough of those dudes on the squad. I don't even know if the head coach is enough of a guy that is willing to do whatever it takes to turn the tide. Again, I could be wrong. I don't know Cliff Kingsbury. I like him a lot. But liking you and you being a really good head coach and a leader of men, two different things. I like Jay Gruden a hell of a lot. Doesn't mean he was a great head coach. So I question Cliff Kingsbury a little bit. You let Kyler Murray talk to you sideways on national television. First of all, you know I'm not the biggest Kyler Murray fan because he conducts himself like a spoiled brat. And so I think your quarterback needs to be the leader of your team. You know, he needs to be the guy that rallies the troops, that they look to for leadership and understanding that, hey, this guy's going to give us a chance to win. And I think they feel that way about Kyler Murray, but they also like Kyler's a dick. And if Kyler is that way, then the head coach better be able to overcompensate for that. I don't think he can, and I don't think Kyler is looking to be a leader at all in any capacity. And I think that might be, you know what? As I sit here, I just talked myself into my answer. There's no leadership on that team. J.J. Watt isn't. Buda Baker, he's trying. There's not enough leadership on that team. You saw the stupid-ass penalty DeAndre Hopkins got tonight. Then he had the audacity to want to question the officials for the next, 10 minutes. Bro, you can't catch a pass, break two tackles, get up, and then point you and you. You can't do that shit. What you think? You're not gonna get a penalty for that? Are you kidding me right now? Seriously? That's straight out of the white man can't jump book. You can't do that. That shit's right out of the above the rim book. You can't do that. I'm taking you and you to school. This shit is too easy. No, this shit is too easy. You can't do that. You get a first down and now you're going back 15 yards. I don't think there's enough leadership on that team. I just put my finger on it. I just talked myself into why I think the Arizona Cardinals stink. Cliff Kingsbury isn't a leader of men. Kyler Murray isn't your leader. They don't have that one guy, and it really should be your quarterback. But Buda's trying. J.J. Watt's, too old, and he's not as dominant as he used to be. His voice doesn't hold as much weight. And J.J.'s at the point of his career where he's like, I'm about to have a kid, or maybe he's already had his kid. I don't have time for this shit, man. He's on his way out of here soon. His best football's behind him. They don't have enough leadership. Anyway, I digress. Big win for the 49ers. They dominate over in Mexico City. Is that even safe to play at that type of altitude? I mean, I think the elevation is higher than that of Denver, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's similar. Thought it was a little bit higher. Let me check. Let me see if I can find what the altitude was in the game tonight. Felt like that altitude was ridiculous. That's a lot of people though. It was 78,000 people there. Let's see the altitude at Azteca Stadium. Altitude at Azteca Stadium. Is that even what it's called? Let's see. 67. Let's see. No. 7,300 feet above sea level. 73. Now, Mile High is like 5,280, right? Altitude at Mile High Stadium. Yeah, 5,280. Right. That's why it's called Mile High. Duh. Is that even safe? I saw a lot of guys cramping up, a lot of guys, having trouble breathing. I get it. Mexico City is a place they've played multiple times. Again, a lot of people were there. I don't know if I really love that for the NFL, but they're not going to stop. They're trying to expand globally. Clearly, Mexico City is a place that has embraced the NFL, and they're not going to stop going there. But it seems like something always goes wrong when they go there. The feed was kind of janky tonight. I don't know if you guys had, maybe it was just my feed, but shit was like turning green, and it was brief, but it kept doing it for a brief spell there in the second quarter. And then it was raining like crazy in this game. Anyway, that's no here or there. 49ers are 6-4. That's the real big takeaway from this game. Is they're 6-4. They now lead the NFC West, tied with Seattle, but own the tiebreaker after beating them earlier this season. They're 3-0 in the NFC West. Meanwhile, Seattle, if I'm not mistaken, is 2-1. That one loss to the 49ers. So the 49ers are going to win that division. If they stay healthy, they're going to win that division. They're the best team in that division. And I'm not sure they're not the best team in the NFC. Just my personal opinion. Anyway, I digress. Let's get to the comment section, see what you guys have to say about tonight's game or anything else that you may want to discuss. Use the hashtag LouieTLive to have your comment read on the air if it is pertinent. And of course, if you want to jump to the front of the line, super chats are the way to do so. All right. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Daily Grind. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, Bobby Boucher opened up a can of wool pass. That's what John Ridgway did yesterday. Absolutely. Daily Grind. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Daily Grind writes, Jimmy G deserves a lot of credit, Lou. He does. They were ready to ship him off. Sometimes a wise man once told me, sometimes it's the moves you don't make that turn out to be the best for you and your situation. And had Jimmy G if he did not have the shoulder surgery, he would have been traded. Washington was interested. The Indianapolis Colts were interested. He would have gotten dealt. Carolina was looking for a quarterback. Seattle was sniffing around him. Someone would have given up draft capital and acquired Jimmy G in a trade this offseason had it not been for the shoulder surgery that scared teams away. Had the 49ers traded Jimmy G, they would suck ass right now. The Seahawks would be winning this division, and no one would be remotely close to them. because Trey Lance goes down and all of a sudden Brock Purdy is probably your starting quarterback. This would have been reminiscent of like 2018, that first full season of Jimmy G supposed to be the starter in San Francisco. I think he gets traded in 2017, starts the final 5 or 6 games, wins all of them. It's all this hoopla and hysteria. The NFL goes crazy. The 49ers are back. They throw him on primetime 5 times. And Jimmy G tears his ACL in like week 3 against the Chiefs, week 2 or 3 at Arrowhead. And now we're forced to watch CJ Beathard on the Monday night. Actually, this is a really good game against the Green Bay Packers, but they should have won that game and they blew it at the end. But we're forced to watch CJ Beathard like 4 or 5 times because they can't get out of it, because they thought the 49ers were going to be good. It could have easily turned into that all over again. 49ers fans know exactly what I'm talking about. This could have been the Brock Purdy show all over again, or the CJ Beathard show all over again. Nick Mullins. You could have been dealing with that shit with Brock Purdy this year, but you didn't trade him. You held on to him. You didn't panic when nobody was looking to give you what you were looking for. And you said, look, he's worth more to me. I always give the analogy of that car that you've had that's, got it's high mileage, right? But it still works. Old, reliable. You're trying to sell it, but no one really wants to give you what you feel like is equal value for the car that has been through so much with you. So you're like, yeah, I'll just hold on to it. It's worth more to me than to just give it away. It still works. I'll just hold on to it. You hold on to it, and then something happens with the new car that you had, right? You get in an accident, or there's a recall, and now that one's not working properly. And, well, Old Faithful is still sitting here. That's what happened with the 49ers. And damn it if he's not playing some of his best football right now. You know what he's playing like? And you see this a lot with guys. When they've got nothing to lose, you just go out and play free. Like, part of the reason Taylor Heineke has been successful is he's just playing like I kind of feel like him getting this starting job and being told you'll continue to start as long as you don't lose and you're not effing up. I think that's going to make him a more cautious player. And like Scott Turner said, I don't want him to lose his stinger. Well, I think you're taking his stinger from him when you tell him, hey, as long as you don't F up and we keep winning, you'll keep starting. If you're going to endorse him, say, hey, bro, just go out and do you. Play balls to the wall, and you're our guy. Then he can just go out and play. You got nothing to lose. You put expectations on him, and you put, reins around him, and you say, hey, dude, if you can't do this or do that, we're going to have to sit you down. Now you got to play cautiously. I think Jimmy G, in his entire tenure in San Francisco, always looking over his shoulder, always feeling like they want better than me. I got to try not to make any mistakes here, because if I do, they may try to replace me. They may move on from me in the offseason. They never had a guy that they could actually bench him for on the roster. So he never had to worry about it in season, but there was always this thought process of, hey, they may try to move on. And then when they drafted Trey Lance, that was it. That was the one where he's like, well, shit, this is it, right? And look what happened last year. He knew it was over. He knew this was his last days in San Francisco. So what did he do? He took him to the NFC Championship game. Why? Because he could just go out and play. There was no restrictions. He didn't have a care in the world. If I F up, guess what? I'm not going to be here next year. So what difference does it make? The fans may hate me. Guess what? I don't play for the 49ers anymore. So I can just let it all hang out. Now he's back, and he's playing with that same type of careless, free spirit, because guess what? They're moving on from me anyway. This is no longer my job. The young kid, when he's healthy, they're going to turn this thing back over to him next year. So he's just going out and playing ball. And you see it. It's actually refreshing to watch. I'm not sure, and this is the trap that teams may fall into this offseason. They may see what he's doing and say, oh, shit, let's go get Jimmy G. And then he comes, and now that careless, free spirit no longer exists. Because now I'm on a new team. There's expectations. You traded for me. Now I got to find a way to play ball within the confines of, being what you expect me to be. I don't know. I just think Jimmy G's playing his ass off right now. And I think part of the reason he is playing his ass off is because he's like, what do I have to lose? Nothing. Scott Turner, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, talk to me nice and put some respect on my name. I'll talk to you any kind of way I want to talk to you. Okay, guy? You've been better of late, though. I got to give you credit for that. Clapping Big Texas Cheeks. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, put some respect on old Scotty 3 points name, please. Look, they're going to tighten up in the red zone. That's the only thing I can hope that they do. I'm going to remain positive. I'm a glass half full guy. I'm just going to assume that they're going to continue to work it, and they're going to iron these kinks out, and eventually we're going to be a solid red zone. Maybe not great, but better than what we are right now. We'll see. Scott Turner, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up, who writes, give me a break. Running a high school O is hard. It is when you're trying to do it in the NFL. But that's not what he's doing. Mike Stevenson II, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, Sirianni channeled his inner Ron wasting timeouts. Yeah, you never want to do that in the second half. Again, I don't care how many. You can waste all your timeouts in the first quarter, in the first 5 minutes of the game. I don't give a shit what you do with first half timeouts. But by all means, you protect second half timeouts like your life depended on them. Unless it's a dire situation, it's 3rd and 2, and you're about to have a delay game. If it's 1st and 10 and you're about to have a delay game in the third quarter with 3 minutes and 14 seconds, like, man, if you don't let that 5-yard penalty get walked off, don't call no timeout for that shit. I need my timeout, especially if it's a close game. I need my damn timeout. Take the 5-yard penalty. We got 3 downs to get 15 yards. Let's figure the shit out. Now, if it's 3rd and 2 and this is a crucial down and you're at the opposing team's 13-yard line, all right, you got to take the timeout. That shit sucks, but you got to do what you got to do because you got a chance to get points here. Touchdown, too, we're talking about, not a field goal. But you get into a situation where you're about to take a 5-yard penalty in a random spot, I'm good. Give me the 5 yards. I'll have to overcome it. I'll deal with it. Don't waste second half timeouts. Those things are precious. So you never want to do that, but you got the win. That's all that matters. John Cedillo, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, sup, Lou? San Francisco does worry me since they bullied Dallas last year. If we figure out reliably stopping the run and it's the pass rush versus Jimmy G, we can handle them. That's the question, is can you get to Jimmy G? Your pass rush is good enough to get to him, but you still sport one of the worst run defenses in football. Let's not act like that just went away because the Vikings got a mud hole stomped in them. You can run the football against the Dallas Cowboys. So this is the biggest problem with any defense led by Dan Quinn, is they're going to be fast. They're going to be physical. They're going to fly to the football, 11 hats rallying to the ball. They're going to be aggressive, all of the good stuff. They're going to be light in the ass, though. That's how you're fast and you're flying around, is because you're going to have undersized guys. You look at the Dallas Cowboys line. I don't know if there's a guy on that entire defensive line that weighs 300 pounds. Everybody's quick. Everybody is fast. They're They're getting up the field and they're one gapping. And I don't know if there's a single guy. This is the problem in Atlanta. They were so damn fast and athletic, but they did not have the girth and they did not have the sand in their trunks to stand up. And also, they couldn't rush the quarterback in Atlanta when he was there. That was their biggest issue. They can rush the quarterback in Dallas, but they have issues stopping the run. So this 49ers team probably would not match up very well with you because, I should say, you would not match up well with them because they could run it down your throat. So that would be interesting, but that's just the way I see it. Suplexes are us. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. This feels like another luck burner account, man. Yo, it's me, Fat American. Oh, well, I stand corrected. Or it could be luck posing as Fat American with a burner account. Luck gets intricate from time to time. I don't want to give him too much credit, but I'm repping old boy Ridgeway. Shout out to him for setting the tone. Niners look scary, man. Hope Ridgeway suplexes Debo. That sounds like Fat American, though. But I don't hope he suplexes anybody else. Okay. Again, we're not looking to hurt anybody. We're not looking to pick up frivolous 15-yard penalties. And trust me, that fine he gets, he'll think twice about picking anybody up and slamming them jackknife style after that fine he gets and that check he's going to have to surrender to the league. Again, that man's not making top dollar as is. Can't afford to be having, $16,000 fines coming out of your check when your check is only, $30,000 to begin with. So he'll think twice about that shit once he gets that fine this week. Anyway, suplexes are us. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, gonna need all the suplexes we can get against San Francisco. Ridgeway better have a bus so he can escort the Niners to Suplex City. I ain't mad at him. Hey. That just like I talked about with the Cowboys game when my guy shucks, I forgot his name. Came in and he was talking about the Dallas game after we beat Philadelphia. And I'm like, bro, we don't play y'all till week 18. I can't even fathom that game right now. We don't even know who's going to play in that game because that's too far down the line. Kind of feel the same way with the 49ers. You start talking to me about post-bye games, and I can't even mentally wrap my brain around that. We still got 3 games before the bye. Let's see. Or it's 2. We got 2 games, Atlanta and the Giants. We just trying to get to the bye week. And you want to win on the way to the bye. These guys need a break. They haven't had one. They had a pseudo bye with the week 6 Thursday night game, but these dudes need a whole week off. And so you come off the bye and you still got the Giants again before you get to San Francisco. You're talking about 3 games and a bye week. You're talking about a whole month before we see these Niners. I ain't even worried about those boys right now because by the time we get to them, they could be a totally different team. They could be much better. They could not have 1 or 2 of these guys that are creating havoc right now. You just don't know what the situation is going to be. Just know that they're really damn good. Just know that. Ivory, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, hey, Mob. Hey, Louie T. I'm in a little dilemma. I bought some merch from the people you promoted a while back, and I still haven't received it. $220 gone. Now, this is when I'm supposed to say, what are you talking about? And then you hit me with a D's nuts, right? Come on, guy. Like, at least you got to be subtle with it. You've been real sloppy with the handles, man. Like, you acting like the dude that thinks he's nice at the court, wants to dribble in place for 10 seconds, and then he tries to make a move, and then you pluck him, and now he wants to call foul. Like, bro, you garbage for real. Now, and I'm not saying you garbage, but I'm saying your handles is trash. This is beneath you, Luck. You got to come stronger than this. All right. You're going to have to get way more creative than making up a random name that I've never seen before, which is already alert, 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 alert. And then you come at me with some random ass shit. I don't promote a lot of stuff as is. And then you come out with some, and then you expect me to go, who? Come on, guy. Come on. Just shit together, man. Suplexes are us. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Writes, if the 2005 offense can score 30 plus as bad as they were, why can't the 2022 offense? I don't know, Lou. Sounds like a bad case of D's. Look, the 2005 offense wasn't terrible. It was just that Joe Gibbs, his offense was outdated. It was antiquated. But the defense was dominant. They forced turnovers. And even though it was antiquated, if you can run the football, which that team could run the football, and you got Santana Moss and you got Chris Cooley, you've got enough pieces to be able to do some damage. It's not like they were void of talent. But that defense was also a huge part of the reason why, we were, had offensive outbursts and games like the 49ers game that year where we scored, I think, 41. Yeah, you get the defense involved and they're running back interceptions for touchdowns and scooping and scoring. Then you're going to have those games where you score 30. That's why we should have done it against the Texans. You get a pick six, you're dominating, you should score 30. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, ain't no such things as halfway crooks, Lou. You scared to death. You scared to look. You shook, Lou. He says, salutes to Luck. Yeah, Luck's got to get better, though. But you know what it is. All right. I think that was the last super. We'll go back to the top, knock out some of these hashtags. Niners fan writes, it's tough to completely take away one guy from an offense. D'Amico wanted to take away D-Hop, but even with bracket coverage, you can still get guys the football, Kelsey, D-Hop, Cup, etc. You want to take him away, but it's tough. But he wasn't bracketing him all game long. There's a third down where he runs essentially over route in front of Dre Greenlaw and completely turns him around and gets the first down. That's not bracket coverage. That's zone, right? And he just gets open. Like, if you're going to bracket a guy, you're going to bracket a guy. And I'm not bracketing the other team's best player with a linebacker if I'm bracketing him. Travis Kelce, you can bracket him with a linebacker. This is a wide receiver we're talking about. You're not bracketing him with Dre Greenlaw. As much as I love Dre Greenlaw, I'm not bracketing an all-pro receiver with the linebacker. So if you're going to take a guy away, take him away. Like, do whatever it takes. You don't have to do that to the Arizona Cardinals. You don't have to, bend over backwards to take away DeAndre Hopkins when Colt McCoy is at quarterback. But if I'm playing against the Kansas City Chiefs, I'm going to dare, and look, it's Mahomes. So he's going to make the other guys like Justin Watson look like studs. Well, go right ahead. Do it. Do it. But it's not going to. Travis Kelce won't get me for 3 touchdown grabs. I'm telling you right now, if I'm a defensive coordinator, I'm going to devise a scheme in a way to stop. Even if that means I got to have a guy on the line of scrimmage where his only job is to face guard Travis Kelce. Have a guy over the top, and his job is to just face guard Travis Kelce. The other guy's shadowing him behind him, and this guy's only job is to just try to mirror him. Like the rabbit at the combine when, you got the offensive lineman and he's just standing there and he's trying to, just slide his feet, stay in front of the guy. You got the guy doing all of this shit and trying to dodge him. And that's how I would have a guy standing in front of Travis Kelce. As soon as he comes off the line of scrimmage, you're running with this dude. Don't even worry about looking for the ball. That's what you do in basketball when you're trying to deny a guy the basketball. You don't even look at the rest of the court. I'm facing you, I'm face guarding you, and my job is to deny you the basketball. And if you touch it, I'm double teaming you. That's what I would do to a guy like Travis Kelce. Or I would take my best corner and say, all right, bro, this is your assignment today, Travis Kelce. That's tough, though, because now you're taking one of your best corners out of the mix. Belichick would do it all the time, though. When he used to play against teams like the New Orleans Saints, when Jimmy Graham was at the height of his career as a Saint, he'd take Aqib Talib and he'd say, hey, Aqib, you got Jimmy Graham today. Have at it. Take his ass out of the game. And he would. But you can't let one dude just annihilate you and be the reason you lose the game. Reese says, just want to wish you and the fam a very happy Thanksgiving, Lou. I know you take some time off this week, so I just wanted to tell you while you were here, my best to you and yours. Likewise, Ree. You're right. Normally this is my bye week, but I'm not going to take the bye week right now. Washington doesn't play in December. So I think when they're off, I may take that week off, or I may take off the week of Christmas because I'll be traveling. I won't be home, and that might make more sense. But we'll see. I may not get a bye week this year just because of the nature of Washington and, how the season may go. I may not get any time off, and that's okay, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. It almost felt like when I got sick and I wasn't able to work, I wasn't able to do the Thursday night or the Sunday. That almost felt like a bye week, even though it wasn't a full week. I didn't feel like I really worked like I normally do that week. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. But it's going to be a condensed week. I'll say that, and I've explained that to the Washington fans, and I'm going to explain that to everyone on the podcast on Wednesday. But it's going to be a condensed week, obviously. Thursday, more likely than not, no content. But don't rule me out. I may show up. It just depends on what's going on at the crib with the fam. If we're kicking it, chopping it up, having a good time, the last thing I'm going to be thinking about is work. But if we ain't doing shit, we just sitting around, I may fire it up. All right. I may fire it up. So we'll see what happens. But I want to tell you and everyone else out there within earshot of my voice, this is the best holiday. And look, to each its own. All right. Some may love Christmas or New Year's Eve or whatever. There are a lot of holidays that you can choose from. This is mine. Thanksgiving features all of the best things that life has to offer. Good food, good company, football, not always good football, but it's football, which I never turn down. And, what more can you ask for? All the F's, right? Faith, family, friends, food, football. What more you need? So, from me and mine to you and yours, happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. But anyway, I think I got some more supers. So we'll jump into some of those. Let's see. Yeah, we right here. Suplexes are us. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, I don't know. Ridgeway, that guy, though. You see how hype he got? I did. I was actually disappointed in him being so hyped. And what the thing that was the most hilarious is he was the only dude on the field hyped. Texans players were looking at him like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude? Our players was like, yo, Ridgeway, bro, what the F? And he's like, whoo, woo. And everybody's looking at him like, bro, that's a 15-yard penalty. You just gave him an automatic first down. It was about to be 2nd and 9. You just made it 1st and goal, man. What are you doing? Clearly, he didn't get that memo. Clearly. Mike Jones, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who says, who? Mike Jones. Or you could go, these nuts. It's up to you. It's optional. But anyway. These nuts. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, ha, got you. You said it, not me. Okay. Suplex are us. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you who writes, will you accept a Super Bowl ring if Dan don't sell? Of course. Look, I had in my mind, I had resigned to the fact that Dan wasn't going to sell and that he wasn't going to be forced out as owner. And so I was resigned to the fact in my head that this guy's going to be the owner until he's either deceased or no longer wants to own the team, whichever comes first. So we were going to have to win in spite of him. And I didn't think that would ever happen, but I was fully prepared to do that whenever that opportunity presented itself. I wasn't one of those people that, man, you know, when they're presenting the Super Bowl trophy to the owner and he gets to speak, I wasn't one of those guys that would be like, man, I don't even want to win the Super Bowl because I don't want them to give the trophy to Dan Snyder and for him to be able to feel like he had a part in this. Damn that. As a fan, as a long-suffering fan, shit, I don't give a damn what Daniel Snyder gets out of this. The joy, all of that shit that comes with winning the Super Bowl, bragging rights, him feeling like everything he's done over the first 20 whatever years of his ownership was validated. He's a great owner now. All of that shit, I wouldn't care one bit about. I just want to win. Would I like to see him out and then we win? Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't want him winning a damn thing. But if that's the cost to do business, if Daniel Snyder is getting praise and respect for for winning a Super Bowl, so be it. I just want the chip. Let's see. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, my guy. Big Money Sonny writes, I'm traveling back east for a month and I need a coat. Recommendations. I like to dress fly, but I also need something waterproof and warm. I would tell you to hit up the outlet, go to Columbia, you can go to North Face. They got all of that. They got both of those. You want to go a little bit cheaper. They have different, they have like one or two different outdoor stores. They sell coats. You usually can get a pretty damn good deal though. It just depends on how thick of a coat you're looking for. And how name brand you trying to go. Like if you go to North Face, I don't give a shit how much of a discount they give you. You still gonna be paying out of your ass for the coat. You go to Columbia, they still gonna bust you over the head, but you might find a deal or two in there. But they're gonna bust you over the skull as well. Excuse me. But if you go somewhere else, like REI or something like that, you might find a deal in there. You know, if you don't care about the name, you just want a coat, then you could go to like Burlington Coat Factory and you'll find a coat there. Right? You want to you know. You don't strike me as a leather guy. You can go to Wilson's. I think they still got a Wilson's leather coat. Nobody's wearing a leather coat, man. What am I talking about? How many of y'all had leather coats? I'm gonna save that for a podcast down the road, man. I digress. Anyway, suplexes are us. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, watch that suplex replay. JSW got in on it too. I'm gonna have to check it out then, because I didn't see anybody else partaking in that foolishness but John Ridgway. So I would definitely have to check that out. Anyway. Suplexes are us. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, you hear Ron and John's speech? Love the demeanor. Absolutely. I talked about it on the show today. Everybody saw it. Everybody was moved by it, and not in an emotional way, but like, you know what? They starting to get it. Like, this is different. It feels different. It looks different, and now it sounds different. That's because it is different. Kyle Shanahan looks like the teacher at school that tries really hard to fit in with his students, uses words like groovy and coolio. I thought you was about to actually use some cool words, like goofy. Reese says, McCaffrey is back, Lou. Dude hasn't missed a game and as effective as ever. I can enjoy watching him now because he's no longer a Panther. McCaffrey is back. I agree with that. McCaffrey is definitely back. And I told you there are certain dudes in the league you can't let players like McCaffrey get into their grasp. Peyton was one of those dudes. Sean Payton was one of those guys. Like, you can't give him an Alvin Kamara. You can't give him a Christian McCaffrey because he's going to F shit up with that kind of a weapon. Just like he did with Taysom Hill. Like, you can't give certain offensive minds, you can't give them certain types of weapons because then they turn into a different type of an animal as a play caller. Kyle Shanahan is one of those dudes. That's why he wanted him so bad. Why he outbidded the Rams for him, because he's like, I can do more with him than Sean McVay can. And that's true. Sean would not have gotten all of the shit that the 49ers. I guarantee you he would not have had a game where he threw, caught, and ran for a touchdown all in the same game as a Ram. I assure you of that. He did that in his second career game in San Francisco. Like, here's the struggle that Shanahan is finding himself having now, though. Eli Mitchell is like, bro, don't forget about me. I tore it up for you last year as a rookie. Got injured this year. I'm back now, coach. Don't forget about Elijah. I'm over here. And he feels guilty, but McCaffrey's over there walking on the sidelines like, yo, if you leave this dude in for another series of plays and I don't get no run, we're going to have a problem. So you're going to have to figure some shit out because McCaffrey's used to playing. And he's made it abundantly clear, and he said it, throughout his career, I don't want to sit down. Play me as much as possible. I want to be in the game. So it's a delicate balance, but they're going to have to figure that out. Big Money Sonny, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Big Money Sonny writes, I used to love leather coats and actually still have a denim coat. Yeah, North Face outlet. It is. Thanks. Side note, Niners going to be a handful, Lou. I think if you're of a certain age, you definitely were blessed with a leather at some point, right? Your skin definitely touched some leather at some point. Yeah, you're gonna spend, but I mean, you a baller, so you're gonna spend a nice, pretty penny, but it's worth it. That's the one thing I can say about North Face. Sometimes you spend money for a name, but you don't necessarily get quality with that name. That ain't the case with North Face. Generally speaking, if you spend and you spend correctly, you go get one of those North Face windbreakers, your ass still gonna be cold. You're gonna pay for it and you still gonna be cold. But you get one of them insulated some bitches, oh, you're gonna be warm. North Face gonna take care of you now. You're gonna pay for that shit, $400-$500. You might get lucky, catch it on sale, might be $3 something, but you ain't walking out of there with a $500 coat for $2 something. You might catch it for like $375 or something, but it's gonna keep you warm. It's gonna keep you warm. Suplexes are us. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, this feels like we're actually trending up now. It does. And I think I talked about that on the show today on CNN, that's what makes what we're doing right now feel different. Is one, it's sustainable. We're not doing anything out of, the ordinary. We're not doing anything superhuman. We're not asking Taylor Heineke to be, Aaron Rodgers. Everything we're doing is something that we can continue to do, but we can get better at it. But we can continue to do this. And the players understand that we're nowhere close to what we need to be in order to take this season from a cute story to, hey, we got to look out for the Washington Commanders. If you want to be the best version of yourself, you got to continue to strive for greatness. And they understand that they could be so much better than they were in the Texans game. They didn't turn it over, though. That was a positive. That was a positive. Ridgeway's ass. Really? Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, be honest. We're a quarterback away from being contenders. Contenders for what? You talking about Super Bowl? If you're talking about a Super Bowl contender, yeah, more likely than not. Heineke would have to be playing, the best football of his life for us to be a Super Bowl contender. It's possible, but then, the whole team would have to be playing that kind of football too. I don't think we're just a quarterback away from being contenders. I think we need more depth at linebacker, corner, and the offensive line could be better too, honestly speaking. But a quarterback would definitely help. You'd feel a lot different about this roster if you had, if Derek Carr was our quarterback, even though I think he's a loser, to be honest with you. But even if Derek Carr was our quarterback, you'd feel a lot better about this team's prospects than Taylor Heineke. If I take it a step, further and even lower, Jimmy Garoppolo's this team's quarterback, you probably feel better about their chances. Not necessarily me per se, because again, Jimmy's not mobile, but Jimmy's showing a little bit of mobility right now. I don't know where the hell it came from, but Super Bowl contenders, we need some work, but quarterback is definitely a part of that, the work that we need. Mike Jones, who? Mike Jones. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Who writes, we can't be contenders. We're already the Commanders. Okay. I got you there. Ridgeway's ass. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, hey, yo, Lou, Doc Walker is so funny. Can't stop listening. The dude is hilarious. Love him. Love him. He's a national treasure. How can you not love Doc Walker? Niners fan writes, Dre Greenlaw can be undisciplined at times, but when he's playing well, our defense is on another level. a lot of times with athletically gifted linebackers, you get that. From time to time, they go rogue. They're not where they're supposed to be. They go chasing a play, and instead of being where they're supposed to be, they're not there. I give you an example. He's supposed to keep outside contain. He can't help but chase the bait. He sees the quarterback looking to go hand off this outside zone on the opposite side of the field away from him, and he's got to go chase it down backside. He knows he's supposed to stay on the backside of this thing, but it's just too tantalizing. I can go make me a tackle for loss. They're not blocking me on this play. Quarterback pulls that thing out, boots to his side of the field, and it's an open tight end, and he should have been there. It happens. You see it all the time with guys that are super athletic, but boy, does he make a lot of plays. He had the deflection on the 4th down. The play before that, he made a hell of a play there. He was flying around tonight. Niners fan says, our game versus you guys in week 16 is set up to be a great one. Sunday night flex? I'm not sure. It really depends on, first of all, who's the game that week on Sunday night. It's got to be a trash game. They're not just going to pull a game out. It's got to be two teams that they thought were going to be good. Like, for instance, Broncos and Chiefs play on Sunday night at some point. I think it's week 14 because I was saying, damn, that would have been a perfect week for us to sneak in there. But we're off. We're on a bye week. Nobody wants to see Broncos and Chiefs. They got to get that game out of there. Week 16, I don't know who is penciled in as the Sunday night game, but if it's not two teams that, are playing well, they may get it out of there. The question then becomes, how hot are you? How hot are we? If we're riding a 5-game win streak and we're 9-5 and you're playing exceptional football and you're 10-4 or whatever, or you're 9-5 as well. Yeah, I could see them flexing that thing because it's already supposed to be a 4:00 game. A lot of times they take 4:00 games and turn them into the Sunday night game because you were already prepping for a 4:00 game anyway. So all you're doing is moving it back an additional, 3.5 hours or so, or 4 hours. But it's not often that you see them take a 1:00 game and make it a 8:20 kick or 8:15 kick. So that would be interesting, but both teams have to be playing well in order for that to happen. And the game has to suck. So we'll see. Vincent Coe, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Vincent Coe, thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, Lou, why is Die Hard a Christmas movie? You got to talk to Ree about that. Ree loves the Die Hard series, loves the Bruce Willis movies. He'll be able to tell you more so than I can. I'm assuming I haven't seen Die Hard in like 80 years. So I can't tell you if there's any kind of a Christmas element to it. Maybe it came out around Christmas time. I can't tell you why that movie, but it is classified, as a Christmas movie in certain, I think it's got plenty of different genres that it's attached to. Obviously action, suspense, thriller, all of that stuff. But I think it's also tied to the Christmas genre for some reason. You got to talk to Ree about that. He could tell you about that more so than I can. Anyway, I digress. All right. We're just about at our limit time-wise. Niners fan writes, Jimmy G is playing fantastic right now. I've been super impressed with him these past few games. I've never seen him make this many off-schedule plays. See, Niners fan is literally echoing what I just said. This shit is crazy. I feel vindicated because he watches his team as closely as any 49ers fan that I know. So I trust Niners fan when he speaks, I listen when it comes to the 49ers. And I'm telling you, man, who is this masked man, Jimmy G? First of all, did y'all see Trey Lance with the chains, with the ice on the sidelines? I don't know how I feel about that. Got your chains on the sidelines. I guess that's the thing. I've seen other guys, blinging on the sideline who aren't playing. Personally, keep that shit in the locker room. All right, you can put that on after the game's over. But dudes want to floss and flex, knock yourself out. Like, I'm personally the dude. Like Chase Young, I've never seen him with a piece of jewelry on. I lied because after the Colts game, Cam Curl is mic'd up that game. He's walking off the field, and he points to Chase Young's chain and he says, "Drip." And Chase Young goes, "So yeah, I lied." But I mean, that's a lot though. That's the Kirk Cousins shit that he's wearing on the plane, right? Like, that's that heavy shit. Where Trey Lance spent a bulk of that first round top 5 money on. Yeah, he got him. That was one of his first purchases. Like, yeah, I'm about to go to get me a couple of chains. But he was chopping it up over there. Jimmy G was, with him and Jennings. And I'm looking and I'm saying, damn, I think these dudes actually like Jimmy G. Like, I think they like this dude. And I heard a story in the offseason about Jimmy G. How at one point, the 49ers organization, they were looking for him. After he got the contract extension, when they first signed him, when he first got traded from New England, they signed him to that big deal. They couldn't find him. Jimmy G went AWOL. And I would assume that's when he was just like doing his own thing. Like, yo, I got the bag. Now I'm about to celebrate. I get with them whenever I feel like it. I was like, maybe there's a different side of Jimmy G I didn't know about. Maybe this is why he's not an elite quarterback. Like, he doesn't care enough. I don't know. Anyway, that was a sidebar. That was a tangent that I just went off on. He's escaping the pocket, and he's doing more off schedule than I can remember. This is not something that I'm used to seeing him do, and I don't anticipate that this continues. You get a team that makes it tough for him to escape up the A-gap. Like, I think it's easy for him to escape up the A-gap. That's not hard for even the most mobile quarterback can escape up the A-gap. Is when you start forcing quarterbacks to be creative, slither in and out of traffic and in trouble, and escape and extend that way. He's not doing that. So, but I was shocked that the George Kittle touchdown was impressive, because that's not a Jimmy G move. Anyway, we seeing the same thing. Just know that. Niners fan writes, if we figure out how to evenly split Debo and CMC carries, watch out. Our offense may be unstoppable. And honestly, that is the fear of any team in the NFC. If Kyle Shanahan can figure out how to evenly distribute the football amongst all of these weapons, look out. 49ers could be unstoppable on the offensive side of the football. Of course, Jimmy G is going to have to play well, and he's going to have to be a point guard. He's going to have to be the ultimate distributor. If he can do that, they could be pretty nasty. Anyway, I digress. That's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on Monday Night Football Overtime. Niners 38, Cardinals 10. Yikes. This was an ass thrashing of epic proportions. Niners dominate this game in the second half. For the third consecutive week, they do not surrender a single point in the second half of the game. Cardinals are now 4-7. 49ers are 6-4. Cardinals are all but done in terms of making the postseason. Look, there's still 7 or 6 games now left to play for them. They haven't had their bye week yet, if I'm not mistaken. But they're not gonna turn their season around. Whereas the 49ers are now tied for first place in the NFC West with the Seattle Seahawks. They own the tiebreaker, having beat the Seahawks earlier in the season. They've got a sparkling 3-0 divisional mark, does the 49ers. And so they're in great position to win that division. And as long as they continue to play the kind of football they played tonight, and even to a degree last week, they're going to win that division, and they're going to be hard to beat. So that's going to do it for me, your man Louie T. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening. Look forward to chopping it up with you tomorrow. I'll be live for Commanders Nightly News. Wednesday, LouieTeeNetwork podcast, and then the week will be pretty much over. But again, we'll chop it up. That'll be a fun podcast. We'll do a lot of different things on it. So hopefully you'll join me for that. But until then, you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. You know what it is. Get off the bench, get in the game, and kick it with me, your man Louie T. Until next time, God bless and good night.
LouieTeeNetwork.